Surprise, motherfuckers! I'm back! Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Clues, Cues and Reviews. Apologies again for my irregularity. There's been a lot on in life. And as such, when life kicks in, you gotta give up something, even if it is a passion project or something I really enjoy. So, with a lot of the shit of life out of the way, and a lot of interesting things to come, which I will be doing a video of tomorrow, so look forward to that. I can come back, do some catch up, and hopefully get back into a regular system. There's going to be a bit of hits and spurts of the next couple of days, because my friends, I'm moving house. I'm buying a house. Yes, this is the one thing that's been doing my head in for probably the last 2 months. It's finally come to fruition. It's going to be a lot of moving. I'm trying to keep it as succinct as possible, as simple as possible, so I can get back into the rhythm. So today what I'm hoping to do is catch up on all the One Piece, Bleach. Tomorrow, hopefully, if I can manage it with the moving around, I'll be doing the videos for Boku no Hero Academia and World Trigger. They're probably going to get uploaded on Saturday, because when I'm moving I won't have internet, but I should have internet for Saturday, and that's when they'll all come out. And with the bank holiday weekend as well, I'll be getting everything else up to date. So without further ado, let's get into these reviews. So One Piece 826, number 0 and number 4, even though really number 0 is not really a number for me anyway. So we get the introduction of a few different things, a few key elements of the story that's probably going to play a big factor later on, and some I like the way this story went for this chapter, because it was a bit of a turnabout. The foreshadows that Oda loves to do really came into play with this chapter. So let's kind of look at it from the beginning, start to end, and a few things that I picked up. So the cover page has Mihawk and Perona. It's still carrying on the story about the 500 berry man. So basically everyone's finding out in the world, and we see Mihawk and Perona seeing the reaction, a homage to Luffy and Zoro with straw hats and the onigiri there. So that was kind of cool, I thought. So yeah, that was the cover page. So let's talk about the main components of this chapter. So 0 and number 4. We'll start with number 4. So the character that was under the hood that looked a lot like Sanji was in fact Sanji's younger brother, Yonji. Bear with us. Anyway, sorry about that. So we find out that Sanji's younger brother, Yonji, is the guy under the hood. Remember, I did say in my last review that it's more than likely going to be the younger brother. I hate to say I said so, but I did kind of say so. And interesting to bear in mind is the theory of the names of the brothers has been out there for a while. A person that I've personally seen kind of talk about this is Rogers Base, as well as a person that I follow, Flying Panda, my fellow UK reviewer, and he mentioned it, the idea of the brothers being Ichiji, Niji and Sanji and Yonji and so on and so forth. He's got a theory about the 12 brothers. Check it out if you get a chance, Mr. Flying Panda. But for now, we get told the 4th brother. He looks just like Sanji. The kind of the curly eyebrows thing runs in the family, as you can imagine. And he's nothing like his brother. He's actually quite a bit of a prick, and he's really not much personality was like him. The one thing they do have in common is the eye boogling thing that they do. I think that's just a family trait. It's funny to see. It made me laugh. He's known with the reference of winch green. The winch is the idea of the things that tends to be on boats and towing trucks, and the idea behind it is pulling and pushing using a rope, right? So I guess the idea of his powers or his kind of techniques will be around that, just by that. And we also find out about his sister, who has another theme, and she's called Poison Pink Reiji number 0. So she's a lot more welcoming, I guess, and she's grateful that Luffy looked after her younger brother. And we get to find out about her ability. Now she looks for the most part kind of like a moth slash butterfly, and I'm guessing that's her devil fruit, and she knew about the poison that Luffy had eaten, and she ate his poison, which makes me believe she's some type of Zoan or Paramecia or something like that. It'll probably be Zoan based on what we know so far. Or is it a technology? We don't know. We do know that they do like the technologies, because Yonji basically jumps into the water and is floating, kind of like the comics, so which is interesting. Sorry, So we know that they're all about technology. We also find out what Brooke knew about, and he basically said that the Windsmoke were a royal family that effectively ruled over the North Blue, which is why he was so scared of him, and the name rang a bell. And they basically explained that we don't necessarily own a kingdom, or we don't necessarily rule a land, so to speak, but they are of royal family and they are able to participate in River. So will it be a case that the father's at the River potentially, or one of the older brothers, maybe Ichiji or Niji potentially? We'll have to wait and see. It seems like the elder sister, the Zero member, is effectively the leader, because Yonji didn't say anything other than being a bit, I guess, angry that he got kicked in the face. Anyway, so we find out that they're still royal, so that part of it did come true. Whether it's linked to the Gorosei, I don't know. That's interesting though. We also find out, and this is what I enjoyed, was the whole thing about the foreshadow with Duval, talking about how they didn't know who he was, and then the Duval thing happened, and he kept, because Duval did say that Marine headquarter people came, and there was a theory about that, because they were hunting him down thinking it was Sanji, and then his first picture came out, and then that's when the whole alive situation happened, and they explained that in this, which I thought was kind of cool, because we finally get confirmation, because it's one of those things where you know it's the case, you pretty much, it's a certainty it's going to be the case, but having it in writing makes it concrete, and that's the idea behind this. And to top this all off, I mean, letting them go and saying carry on, we don't really want to get into a fight right now, that's cool, but the reintroduction of Jinbei is a positive sign. We find out about this in the next chapter, but I'll break it down there with the explanation. But this is my review of the first chapter that I missed last week's. On to chapter 827. So, chapter 827, Totland, which apparently translates to the land of 10,000, or 10,000 land, or 10,000 country. I'm assuming that means population, because we find out that Totland is basically one of 34 little islands that surrounds the whole Cake Island. We kind of find out a little bit of the dream of Big Mom, and the idea is to remove prejudice and have a land, or have a utopia where all races, all beings, all people can be, which is kind of cool. It does kind of link into the idea of the new Kama Kingdom. It does kind of link into the idea of being free, so you can see the parallels with Luffy. I have a theory about this, I'll mention this at the end, so I'll leave that out there for now. So the island that they end up on, Totland, is Chocolate Town, and every area has a councillor, and this guy, Mr. Chocolate, basically. There's a scene where Luffy and Chopper basically eat a cafe. They were told it's illegal to eat whole. They literally just eat it whole and nearly get in trouble and get arrested. They are then saved by Miss Pudding, who uses a different name to do with the eel, I guess, or the amoeba thing that's on her back. And she seems to be a very nice guy, lady, a gal, and you know, she's very helpful and stuff like that. It made me think a lot that she could be a nice member of the Straw Hat crew, because she's like that, and maybe he marries her and takes her with her, which is always good. So that kind of part of it was cool. We did not get any Jinbei thing today, which was disappointing, but we'll get him later on. So I guess the idea behind him being involved with Big Mom is a little more deeper than just a case of a deal about food. Food is a motivation, but there's a lot more to it than that. I guess the idea of being inclusive of all races explains the whole thing with the minks, Peckhams, and the fishmen. It's interesting also to see that Pedro was recognized, which means he has some deep lineage and deep links. Being that the guy likes to fight so much, it could be interesting to see that these people maybe were part of his crew, and he had a little crew under, you know, they used to go out, and these were under him, because they recognize him, like, stop, don't even go there, we don't want to be causing a fight. Then we get to see Big Mom, and she's got like everything is inanimate objects are kind of out there, and I'd imagine that's either her ability or somebody's abilities in her crew. Now she's crazy about the tea party, and she's going, you need to rob and kill if you have to get these ingredients, and her crew members do that. So it shows the Yonko side of her. She's a dangerous individual if her members are willing to do something like that for simple things like eggs, fruit and flour, I guess. So that was kind of cool, dangerous and scary at the same time. And then we get to see her kind of very Disney-ish, very out there, and basically her area is Disneyland. Now, it got me thinking of a few different things. So, first of all, we got the idea about it's 3 days away. I mean, the whole tea party thing, right? She's making this cake and she knows Straw Hat is on the island. How she knows that, I don't know, but there's things to bear in mind. She already has an intelligence network in place. One of her powers and one of the things that people are worried about is her ability to gather information. That is her strong point. So her knowing about Straw Hat being on the island is interesting. There's a theory out there that Sawyer mentioned about the idea of Luffy being the sacrifice. Now here's what I thought about when I saw him eating the cafe like he was. I kept thinking of Hansel and Gretel. The idea that the witches try to fatten him up to eat him, just keep feeding him food, and Luffy will just eat. Because there's a theory out there that she's a witch, Big Mom's a witch, and it kind of plays that storyline a little bit, the Hansel and Gretel side of things. Now, that's pretty much a quick summary of the chapter. Now I want to get into this little theory. So the theory for me is the idea of Pirate King. Remember, Luffy's talking about being free. The idea of being free means encompassing everything, being friends with everyone and having like loyal members of the crew, whether it's in the fleet or whatever have you. But I think it's a bit more than that. The idea of a Pirate King for me, above being free, is being able to fulfill your dream. I think the best way to be free is being able to live your dream wherever it might be. So the idea for me to be a Pirate King would be to exceed the dreams of the Yonkou, because the Yonkou are the closest thing to be Pirate King, right? What if, as the story progresses, we find out the dreams of each member of the Yonkou? Now, Blackbeard's is a bit obvious, it's about power and getting all the devil fruits and stuff like that, right? What if he wants his own Disneyland full of powerful people? And we know that that Kaido wants an army of devil fruit users as well. So we've got a lot of power and the ability to, influence and enforce things. Then you got the idea of Big Mom and her utopia, and we don't really know Shanks' full intention just yet, which will be revealed in time. What if, by Luffy and this whole saga of meeting the 4 Yonkou and becoming the Pirate King is about fulfilling the ideals and the dreams of these individuals? For example, if you look at the idea of Big Mom, if she wants a utopia where everyone is free in the sense of, there's no prejudice, if the Pirate King shakes the foundations of the world and he's able to go wherever he wants, that would have to come true. Much like the Fishman Island Rising would have to come true, because that means that that discrimination isn't there anymore because they're living among humans. The same way I'd imagine the idea behind the minks knowing that they will have to come off Zoa at some point is the idea that they will find a place to live in the world that's not moving all the time, they don't have to worry about wars and being safe, that they're freely accepted in the world. Same kind of thing for me with the Skypians having a place in the world, not just a legend, not just something that's out there, gold in the sky or Kingdom of Gold, being able to live in the world with everybody else. And I guess by being free, I think Luffy can accomplish that. Now, we have yet to see all the other ones. I guess the idea about One Piece and everything else will come into fruition as we go along, but I think the idea what's going to happen is Luffy, by defeating or siding with members of the Yonkou society, or the 4 Yonkou, will fulfill their ambitions through his own journey. That's just a quick theory. It doesn't really have much basis, it's just something I want to throw out there. Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you enjoyed these chapters, like if you enjoyed the review, like if you just enjoy me. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate that. I want to make my journey into Ascension for these subscribers, for this community, for this reviewing. Let's just get it out there. Let's get as close as I can to 100 and 1,000. I'm sure I can do it with your help. Until then, see you next time.